The European Council President reignited his previous insult to Leave campaigners that there is a special place in hell for those who promoted Brexit without even a sketch of a plan. The eurocrat risked once again infuriating Brexiteers in Britain, after 7-hour negotiations left Britons facing a lengthy delay to Brexit. Speaking after the Crunch European Council summit, Mr. Tusk said both the EU and Mrs. May had showed a goodwill and determination to reach an agreement. But in a final jibe to Brexiteers, he added, according to our Pope, hell is still empty. It means there is a lot of space. European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker interjected, don't go to hell. The EU 27 offered the Prime Minister a significantly altered extension to the bloc's Article 50 exit clause in answer to her request. Brussels insisted on a flexible and unconditional approach pushed by France and Germany, because of leaders' fears that Mrs. May will never be able to secure the support of MPs for her deal. Donald Tusk revives hell jibe for Brexiteers after Crunch summit in Brussels. Image Getty. In conclusions agreed by the EU 27, Mrs. May was offered the opportunity to remain in the EU until May 22 with or without her deal being ratified in Westminster. The leaked document, obtained by express.co.uk, says, the European Council agrees to an extension to the 22nd of May 2019 provided the withdrawal agreement is approved by House of Commons next week. If withdrawal agreement is not approved by House of Commons next week, the European Council agrees to extension April 12, 2019. And expects the UK to indicate a way forward by the European Council. This will give the Prime Minister the opportunity to lock Britain into the EU for up to 2 years, but only if he commits to holding EU Parliament elections. The agreement came after 7 hours of hard negotiations, which an EU diplomat described as the first moment of broken unity between the EU 27 throughout the Brexit process. Leaders tossed and turned over several different plans as leaders rode and eventually overturned French President Emmanuel Macron's effort to delay Brexit by days before booting Britain out of the bloc. European Council President Donald Tusk announced that the deal had been reached between leaders before meeting with Mrs. May. France, Belgium and Luxembourg proposed allowing Britain to remain an EU member until May 7 without any conditions, but ultimately failed in their efforts. Ireland failed, scrapping a May 22 date originally proposed altogether after Irish Prime Minister Leo Varadkar yesterday urged his European colleagues to cut Britain some slack. The Prime Minister was said to present no plan B, was unconvincing, and didn't say anything different to her previous addresses to the EU 27, according to a number of accounts from the meeting. The lack of faith in Mrs. May's ability to seal the deal in the Commons resulted in the drastic shift of EU leaders